Good morning, it's Nancy. Welcome back to my channel, Wishes and Weeds. I'm going to do something a little different today. We've been focusing primarily on using packing paper this last week, and I'm just thrilled with all of the attention those videos have been getting, and I've been meeting new junk journal community members. I hope you'll stick around and see what else I can do. But today I thought I'm just going to talk about the junk I brought home from work. My new subscribers, and there's been quite a few this last couple weeks, you wouldn't maybe know that I'm a social worker by day, and I work in a law office. So if you follow my Instagram, there was a picture I posted yesterday. One of the staff opened up a parcel that came, and it was full of packing paper. So she said, she came to my door with it, and she said, "This is a good box." I said, "Yes, it is. Thank you." So, I got all of that paper processed yesterday. So I'm just going to put this on my shelf with my other packing paper. I have already got a lot pulled out, to say the least. We have a new lawyer starting in a couple weeks, and I had a few minutes the other day to strip down his office from the previous office inmate. And one of the things I found in a file cabinet were these big card file thingies. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet, but I mean, they're so clean. They're a beautiful color. I can see these might make a nice writing board for the inside of a journal that's really fluffy. And I will store these vertically so that they don't take up much room. Also have a piece of chipboard that was in the bottom of a box of letterhead. Came in the other day, and this little envelope was stuck in my keyboard. So somebody knows, somebody probably got flowers or something, and somebody thought, Nancy will do something with that. So next tea bath will include that. Two other things showed up on my desk this week. Ooh. These old law books. And I'm looking at them. So these are bulletins that would come in. These are old. These are from 2012. There's some 2013s in here, I think. You know, we don't use paper. If we're looking up constitutional law, it'll be on the internet. And we have an office that we use to do legal research as well. So, sorry, I'm just cleaning junk. So these are just going to be for scrap paper. And I have 2 books of these. That was volume 2, and this is volume 1. And initially I thought, oh, I can tea dye this. No, I can't. Where am I going to store it? Where am I going to store it? But keep an eye on whatever I drag home and I think I can't use. If you want some of this, let me know and I will send it to you, and you can tea dye till your heart's content. But I'm sure you have plenty of paper wherever you may be. Anyway, so scrap paper for gluing on. But it's the binders that are most interesting to me. So I have these thinger-doobers that help the pages go in the center so they don't get ripped up, and some tabs, and the coworker that brought this to me, she said, "You can recover these, can't you?" And I said, "Of course I can. That locks it so things don't come, I can't open it." I said, "Of course I can." I don't know if I can. But wouldn't this be a fun project for some weekend to see if I can cover this? Probably with fabric, or I could collage on this, like sort of like a masterboard kind of collage. I have a whole box of binders like this, not quite as big. So this one's about 9.5 by 10 and a bit. And I think the pages could definitely go a bit bigger. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Those rings are pretty high. So maybe that's something I will do in the next month. You see these things, these kinds of binders all the time at thrift stores. You know, it's somebody's policy for something, or a handbook to fix something, or whatever. Oh. I got the CD. And not that I need a CD. I'm tossing those away all the time, but I was thinking this would make a good template for several things, and I thought I would demonstrate that. Let me grab a couple of supplies. All right, so I have a piece of fabric. This happens to be vintage, but these are just, CDs are just a little smaller than 5 inches. So if you have scraps, or if you have some leftovers from a charm pack, you're all set, because those are 5 inches. One of the thrift stores near me routinely cuts fabric into sizes like 4x4 or 5x5 for people who buy them for quilts. So I'm just going to cut that circle out. So it's Saturday morning, just gone 6 o'clock, and I'm still on my first coffee. No big plans today. I've been thinking about goal setting. If you have been around a while, you'll remember that was it last year or 2 years ago? I did a couple rounds of the 12-week year, which is a book that I learned about, where the idea is instead of making resolutions for a year, you make goals over a period of 12 weeks. And I found it really effective. So, but it's about, goals you can achieve in that 12 weeks or measurable steps to achieving other goals. So, as I've talked about before, okay, I'm going to make a yo-yo. It's also called a Suffolk puff in Australia and countries like that. But definitely I've seen Suffolk puff in Australian crafting magazines, so that's why I know that one. So I'm just turning over the edge, maybe 1/4 of an inch, doing a running stitch. Nothing too close together. Just, a basting stitch, basically, I guess you would say. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So Doug is, he's months away from being 64. So his mind has been turned towards retirement for some time. I am extraordinarily younger than him. I also would like to retire. So we have a desire to be snowbirds. We want to live in Canada 6 months of the year and somewhere down south from November to April, I guess. So maybe only 8 months in Canada and 4 months in the south where it's warmer. So we need to downsize what we've got going on here, invest in a smaller home for our retirement, something, 1 floor, and we don't want to be worrying about stairs and that sort of nonsense. And then once we've done that, then, we've already started tentatively looking at property in the U.S. My preference is Georgia. Doug's just looking forward to golfing, so he doesn't really care as long as there's a golf course. Nothing against Florida, but I've fallen in love with Georgia, and it charms me. So, towards the end here of trying to downsize, one of my goals is once a week, I am going to, every time we get paper delivered to the office. I get the big paper box, like, you know, the big banker's size box. I'm going to bring home the paper boxes, and I'm going to pack that box either with stuff to take to the thrift shop, or if it's worth saving for a yard sale for next year, then we'll do that. Me, I want to throw everything in the trash. Doug thinks everything's worth $1 million. So it'll be an effort. I just kind of want to find a center point here. So I'm just kind of giving that a pinch. So yesterday we started cleaning out the cold cellar. Oh my goodness. Ooh, so where's my pinch gone? I don't know where pinch went. So we're just going to have to guess. I'm just going to... Oh, I broke it. Oh. I bet you this is old thread. I'm going to pause, get back to this point. All right, we're back. I used much heavier thread this time. And I did mark the center right there. So I'm just going to pull that tight, tight, tight. Make the poofy all stand out nice and proud there. And as tight as it can go. And knot it off. Okay. So there you have a yo-yo. This one I'm going to finish off with a button. Anyway, what was I blabbing about? Cold cellar. So we filled 2 bags of garbage. Emptied a plastic tote, so I took that outside and hosed it off. So we can use that for storage as we're sorting out what's going, what's staying. I found a little basket that had these, back in the 90s, Red Rose Tea made these tiny teapots. I don't know if you remember that or not. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, Google Red Rose Tea. I'm not a drinker of Red Rose Tea, but I had a young man I was keen on at that time, and he had dreams of being a fireman. And one of the little teapots was a firehouse, and he wanted one of those really bad. So I had this little basket that had 23 red rose teapots. And just before I chucked them, I looked them up on eBay, and some of them are going like for huge money. So I thought, well, somebody will want these. So I put a little ad on Facebook Marketplace, and I said the first $20 can have all of them. And they were gone. So I made $20 yesterday. Actually, I made 15, or an additional 15, because when I bought my new car, it came with what's called a tile. Like, it came with a box that had a tile in it, with the car dealership's name on it. And the idea is you put this app on your phone, and you put the tile on your keychain, and then if you lose your keys, you just activate the app on your phone, and it makes the keys beep. I've had one for a long time. I have another idea for how to make a flower out of fabric using the Constitutional Law of Canada. So I'm going to cut another circle and assemble what I need for that, and we'll do one more. Anyway, so I didn't need another one, and I couldn't give it to anybody as a gift because Doug tore open the box. So I listed that on Facebook Marketplace, and that went yesterday too. So I made $35. Clean this house out, I could be a Rockefeller, let me tell you. So and I mean, there's no reason why I'm using the same fabric except it's here. I know who would love this color. Tracy. Okay. I'll pause there and be right back. Okay. This is what we're going to make. We're going to do a little bit of folding to make this hexagon. It's very easy. This time I went ahead and found the center. And actually I'm going to spray this first. This is just Best Press. I've got to find my center again. Yeah. If you've been following me for a while, it will become quite obvious, or if you haven't been following me for a while, it'll become quite evident that I have a thing for ironing. So of course I have a mini iron. Okay, so I'm going to just bring that edge right up to that center point and not stroke it out of shape, because this is on the bias, right? Just kind of flatten it. And the Best Press just helps keep it really crisp. I'm using a chunk of a cutter quilt. Here's my pad. Okay, this corner is going right to your center. You can get teeny tiny irons. I see a lot of quilters have those. I got this at a thrift store actually. Or no, I got it at a yard sale. I think this is also something I got because I was quilting a lot at the time. And, you know, you need something close to hand so that you can just press a little seam or, you know, whatever. Now, when it's all done, it's at one point here. Looks like a diamond. And then bring that point up. Wow. Got a little thread here. I'm going to cover this with a button so I'm not worried about the knot being on this side. Got a little knot in the knot, looks like. You could glue these down at the tip there. I mean, you don't want to glue it flat because you want, you know, that texture of the folds, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, I think everything is probably stitched down now. I'm going to take this button. I have made these before and done like embroidery on them. They turned out really cute. If I can find a picture, I'll show. Okay. Doug was asking me last night, how do you knot the thread at the end? I thought, why do you want to know? Well, I just want to know. I said, well, if I teach you, you'll have to sew your own buttons on. Oh. I made him try on his good suit. You know, like every man, he has one black formal suit for the purpose, all-purpose wedding, funeral, graduation. So, got a group of flowers here. And of course, if you use a smaller circle, you're going to get smaller flowers. Excuse me. All right, let me unplug this, and I have one more thing that I want to show you of junk I brought home from the office. Okay, little bit of technical difficulty. What I wanted to show you is I had this was a vinegar bottle, just I guess a liter of vinegar. I was descaling the coffee pot at work yesterday, and I thought I can make something with this that will help me. So I just used utility knife to cut along. There was an edge there marked in the plastic. What I can't show you is that there was a little bit of printing on here and some glue. I just used a little paper towel and some acetone, for nail polish remover. And it just wipes right off. So there's no marks on here. Now, what I'm going to use this for, I mean, it could be used for anything. I initially thought, like I often will make like little things to tuck in pockets or whatever. And I could, store them in this little container, and that way I always have them at hand to grab. Who cares? What I do need storage for is as I make these bobbins that I use to wrap my lace and trims on. These will fit in here perfectly. So I have got a little book plate, and I am going to line it up. There's a little line there. Just going to poke it with my pokey tool. I don't see my pokey tool, so I'll use my needle, my thread, my thread ripper thingy. Move my finger out of the pokey direction. Okay. The easy one is going to be the top one, of course. So I'm just pushing some brads in there. And I don't mind using this black book plate. I've had it for years and years and years. I'll never put it on a journal because that's not my style. It's just not. And then I need to turn it. I have to put it sideways, I guess, because I can't get the itty bitty feet apart. Jeez Louise. Okay. Well, I called that, didn't I? I told you the first one would be easy. The second one was going to be a pain. Okay. Then I have a little piece of card that I can put right there. I might make it a little thicker yet. I already glued two parts together. I want it thick enough that it doesn't fall in and out, but I want it thin enough that I can remove it if I decide to do something else. There. No. One more? I could always use like a glue dot behind there, maybe? Okay. So I'm just going to write on there, bobbins. Do you want to see how I make these bobbins? I've demonstrated this a million times, but like I said, we've had so many new subscribers recently, new interest in the channel, so I will come back and show you how to make these bobbins. Okay, I'm back. So what I do is I save bits of cards. So these are little advertising cards that I picked up when we were on our little car trip a couple weeks ago. So this is where I like to go for corn. Anyway, I want to make sure that they're at least 4 by 5. So this one's about 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Perfect size. This one is longer, so I know it's 6 by... This one's just 4. So I would probably cover this one and then trim off any extra. This one I would probably cut off 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch so that I didn't waste glue or time collaging. Now, I keep these right on my desk. These come in the mail every day. I keep them on my desk. And then when I have a hunk of paper that has text on it or a little image on it, these ones are made from a Father's Day card. Anytime I get a little something like this one, I'm just gluing stuff on. So I just use regular glue stick. And then this is a little piece of a book that had a ship in it. That'll do. Should be doing this on a piece of scrap paper, but of course, I mean, I only have 5,000 pieces of scrap paper. They don't have to face any particular way. There's a hole there. So this helps me to make my bobbins, and sometimes when I do have trims or lace on my Etsy shop, I'll wrap them on these handmade bobbins, unless I say otherwise. Oh, I got the glue stick in my hand. Let's finish these last 2 bits up. That's going to be a perfect fit there. Okay, back you go. So these ones are ready to trim. So I think these are 8 inches long. Yup. By 5 3/8. So I can start by trimming one side. And I mean, if it's not exactly 5 by 4, sometimes I will cut these 2.5 by 4 to do like very thin laces or small amounts. of laces where I don't need such a thick space. So this one's only 3 7/8. Close enough. Okay, let me finish cutting these up. All right, now I have my envelope cutting board. This will explain to you why my envelope cutter doesn't work. So I'm just going to put the corner right where the button ends. And again, right where the button ends. So I will quickly do all those. Okay. So I'm going to cut this edge 3/8 of an inch shorter. So this was one of the ones that was just 1/8 of an inch short of 4 inches. So I'm going to go over 3/8 of an inch. Cut. Look at that. And most of the time, that's exactly... Did you see the little seahorse? Isn't he cute? Oh, that one I didn't pop. So it's very simple, and you know, the collaging. If you need something to keep your hands busy while you're in front of the TV, or just not feeling any creative mojo. I mean, you can use index cards if you don't have junk mail or old greeting cards. That one mustn't have been precisely 4 inches either. I was being mindless. You'll notice on these ones I'm not measuring. I'm just sticking my tip of my knife there, lining up the ruler, lining it up with the bottom. That's good enough, but I figured I should probably measure just in case somebody was curious. Look, there's the one we just finished. Easy peasy. Okay, so got some bobbins here. Got my vinegar bottle cum storage for bobbins. And now I always have them at hand. So that was a fun and quick project to use up trash. We love to use our junk. And we also made these flowers by using the Constitutional Law of Canada. Okay, I hope you thought this was kind of a fun sort of video, a little different than something we've had over the last week or so. I am going to be doing some work this weekend on my journal, getting some signatures together. And there's at least one more brown paper video coming on Monday, and I know that because I've already recorded it. So take care of yourself, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.